Our picture here framed is going to be about 10 inches by 7.5 inches. I'm using this kind of tissue paper. I don't want any of the stuff with lotion or any of that in it. I take one of these and I'm going to wad it up, kind of like this, with a little rough edge. We're going to use that in certain areas to pull paint back off when we do like the clouds over the top of it, to get my light edge back on top of it. So now that this is in here, I'm going to just put some water on a brush and I'm going to force back that paint because it started to make a line in there. Then when I come in and hit this, I can pretty much get rid of that little line that I made when I came through. And we can clean that out, clean that up, go back in, pick up as much of that as possible. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to mix for the sky. And the way I do that is we're going to use ultramarine blue. It doesn't have to be a lot, it's pretty rich. And then we're going to clean the brush off, and this here makes it neutral. So we're going to add some more blue. There we go. So now we've got kind of a warm gray for the clouds. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to come in here and just paint in these clouds. And as I add to the bottom here, you'll see that I'm actually putting on another layer of clouds, but because it's not dry, it's going to create this second layer right here, which is going to be darker, which is going to drop the cloud behind it back some. And I'm just hitting this, just touching it. So I'm just dropping paint in on top of it. It's kind of balling up down here in the bottom. I don't mind that, because as long as it doesn't run, it's going to create that dark line on the bottom. I'm going to add this cloud here on the bottom, but at the same time I'm going to add more black to this. So this is going to be darker, and this is going to be a light little cloud. We're going to get just a little bit of alizarin crimson, not a lot. Make sure it's a little. And we're going to come across the bottom. Another thing I'm going to do is on these top part of these clouds, on the ones that are distant, I'm just going to soften these edges. I know they're dry, but it's got these darker lines on it, and I would rather not have those exactly like that, so I'm going to soften them up. I think that this area right here needs to have some trees behind it, and I'm really tempted to bring this red down into this area, and we're going to come back in here and we're going to wet this here down. So let's see how that works. So we're going to come right through the middle of this. More. There we go. That's better. And it really doesn't have to go all the way across. Just like right. Dry that a little bit. So what that did was that warmed this up a little bit more, got rid of the yellow up underneath it. Understand, this is going to be starkly contrasted by these trees. Here we go. The next piece, we're going to go back to bigger brush, and we're going to get all of this wet. So, all the way across here. And this is literally covering this whole area. And once again, leaving that area, because I'll come back in and hit that at the very end. It'll be dark. So this is where we're going to actually see this warp just a little bit. And what we're going to do next is we're going to come in here, we're going to put a couple little trees. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to start working this down. This is where it really starts speeding up because we're getting bigger. All of this back in here, my eye is going to filter back, and I want this to be pretty detailed back in there. We're going to spray this. This is a spray bottle. So here we go. This is the light part back in here. Gotta kind of work fast, otherwise it's going to leave lines, and we want it to be kind of a wash. So I'm going to come in here and kind of hit this area. I'll retouch this, come back in a little bit darker. Now you can see I'm going to start layering. I've got this piece that comes all the way to here. So I'm going to come in here and start hitting this, start doing these layers. And this I'm going to add quite a bit more brown to. So as it gets a little closer up in here, we'll go ahead and do a couple little extras here. I'm going to leave some edges on this, and I'll come back in here with a piece of paper because the light's coming from the other side. So at least on this side we're going to have some of that light green showing through. So now we're going to dry this off.